We're looking at how COVID has changed things on the job front in terms of employment, in terms of what you're doing, how businesses are reacting, and how should we approach all this, this significant impact of the pandemic on our lives. We have three business owners in different industries to talk about the tools of the trade, selling, and leadership.
Welcome to the jungle. Are you a zoo animal or are you a wild animal? And what this has done is made everybody a wild animal overnight. So have you been taking your time to understand how to hunt, how to survive, how to exist, right? So many people, so many managers have sat there without much experience, not really knowing what they're doing, but been able to sit in these roles, getting large salaries, managing teams that without any experience at all. They've been able to be very safe in these companies for decades, right? For years. People get promoted based on being tenured, right? You have individuals just relying on inbound opportunities and referral only. All that's gone. Right now, I hate to be biased and sound like the typical sales guy here because I own a sales organization, but now outbound sales and real conversations matter. A buzzword's not going to help you now, you know. And I know we're on a podcast, but a podcast is not going to help you, right? These things are not going to necessarily create the answer, right? What's going to create the answer is: are you actually good at what you do? Do you actually have a real value proposition to give to the world? And a good idea is not going to work anymore for the VCs. So welcome to the jungle. Now we have to actually be real. It's a reset button. That's the silver lining that I see.
So our mission or our purpose, that's remained the same, and we've realigned ourselves to it. But how we actually deliver on that purpose and how we serve our customers, I have to say everything's changed. From the way we invoice them to the way we charge them, the way we deliver products and services and programs to them, that's all had to change. And in many ways for us, that's become our real value proposition because we've had to be incredibly nimble, and because of our size and because of the way we operate, and because we understand and spend such a long time understanding the needs of our customers, then we're able to adapt to what they need and still be able to deliver our services, but in a totally different way.
We know the younger generation are probably a bit more adaptable at this. How about those mid-career and those who are older, who may have been displaced because of COVID and now trying to come in? How would they get a foothold into your businesses, for instance, or to be part of your teams?
You know, I would say if you're a little bit older, first thing is to make sure you Google your name and make sure that, you know, whatever that you see over there is exactly, you know, what you want people to see. Because people will Google your name, which I'm sure, you know, some of you who's attending this webinar now, you're probably Googling my name or William's name or Dom's name on the internet just to find out, you know, what's our background, professional and maybe personally as well. So yeah, I think, you know, if I were to give any tip amongst, you know, the many other things that one might say, I would say just make sure that your reputation is what you want people to know about you.
Okay. How is ageism in relation to your industries? I mean, is it there? I mean, do you judge somebody by their age before even giving them an opportunity to try for something?
We are in the digital marketing industry. This requires people who operate within the digital marketing industry to be quick in understanding, you know, how things work digitally. And I'm not proud of it, but there are many times that I've met with people who are from my industry and they talk about someone else who's maybe, it could be a new hire, it could be a client, it could be somebody that's really dabbling their feet into digital marketing. And they start making fun, like, why is he even in this line of work? And I feel this is something that hopefully will change in future because everybody is still, you know, trying to do their best. Everybody's still trying to be nimble. And you know, I hope for the better of this world, you know, people give everyone else a chance.
I think, Cannon, on this one, we all have an unconscious bias, you know. So even though we try to regulate that and make sure that age doesn't come into it, we all have an unconscious bias. And I think education plays a big role in this. And what we know absolutely without a doubt is that 65% of the success of any business comes down to its people, you know, how engaged, how aligned, how passionate they are about the organization's purpose and how capable they are to deliver on the value promise of that business to the market. And what we also know is that diverse workforces are far more productive. So if you look at all the metrics in terms of productivity, profitability, revenue, those diverse organizations where there's many different people, age, races, whatever, different talents, they perform far better, they're far more innovative, but they're also far more resilient. So I think there's a real role for all of us to play in educating people and making sure they understand the huge benefits of having a diverse, including older people, working.
But I think that when it comes to the question specifically in terms of age, I think that there are advantages to every age bracket. You get the hunger and you get the naivete of your early 20s and mid 20s people. You get the polished but still highly energetic early 30s to mid 30s, right? You get the power of time, experience, and structure from the people in their 50s or in their late 40s. And it's up to the leaders and the owners of the business to be able to kind of organize that in a way that's effective.
So what you just raised, I think is quite important for people out there who are looking for work and trying to understand what they're not doing right or what they should do, try and get a better sense of the handle on the reins. So would you have any sort of advice for people who are trying to get out there, especially given all the changes that will reshape things after COVID? What should they do? What should they bear in mind? What are the key things that they should hang on to and develop for themselves?
One of the things that I was living in Shanghai about 14 years ago. I lived in China for 5 years, and I was fortunate enough to be good friends with someone whose father was the chairman of Jones Lang LaSalle, rest in peace, Mr. Stuart Scott. And we were at a bar, Sky Bar. And I asked him the exact same question when I was trying to get into the game of work and what I should do. And the advice he gave me at that particular time, I thought was phenomenal. He said, be good at something. It doesn't matter what it is, but know everything about it. If you are the master of dill pickles and you know everything about dill pickles, you know how dill pickles are processed, you know where to get pickles, you know the soil, you know everything about dill pickles, you will be successful in some capacity as it relates to dill pickles. If you are into marketing, be really into marketing. Make it something you really want to do. If you're into sales, be good into sales. Go to an actual sales school, get a methodology, understand it, get experience, start low. Don't try to be a manager immediately. Be a master at that space. So I think that there is not a cheat sheet. It's really focusing on knowing what you want to do and being not just good, but focused on really marrying your life to that. I am a salesperson. For the rest of my life, that's what I'm gonna do. Regardless of what industry I'm in, I'm a salesman. And that's what I'll do. And that's what I've dedicated my life to. So the same way doctors, lawyers, or whoever, I think people need to really subscribe to something, not rely on buzzwords, not really think about the money they may get or the salary they may get from it. Because if you're not good at something, it's not going to have longevity anyway. So as long as you're focusing on being good at something, I think that whatever you're into will work.
So I think that idea of staying really connected, really curious, being courageous to get feedback on your own performance and continuously learn, you just can't stand still. And there's no free rides or cheat sheets, as you were saying, William, anymore. You really have to do the work. And perseverance is one of the key characteristics of successful people right now. You know, they have to actually endure and put in that effort.
Absolutely. I mean, I think people need to ask themselves, would they do what they're doing right now for free?
Yeah,
it's a very good question.
That's the question.
Point. Yeah.
But I think too many people are standing around hoping that, you know, they'll be struck with some insight that they want to be a doctor or they want to be a marketer. It doesn't work that way. You know, you develop a passion for something, and the better you get at it, the more you want to learn, the more you learn about it, the more your performance goes up. And there's just, you know, that's the way the human brain works is that we actually learn best when we're stretching ourselves, when we're challenging ourselves, when we're increasing our capacity or our capability. That's when we assimilate new information most easily. So you really have to push yourself, you know, and if it's too easy, or if you expect it to be too easy, you actually just don't learn that well.
And I think another point that I want to impart to any potential job seekers is, COVID or non-COVID, I think one has to always be able to stay nimble, not only as a business, but more importantly as an individual as well. You could be doing something all your life, like maybe you could be an accountant all your life, and you could be working for the same company as an accountant your whole life, and now you could have been let go and now you're forced to look for something new. Yeah, you can still be an accountant, but now you have to be nimble. Nimble in the form of, okay, so how do you take your skills and knowledge and experience from being an accountant into adding value into other potential employers or even clients.
And you just have to think back to Charles Darwin. It's not the strongest, it's not the smartest, it's not the biggest that flourish, but it's those that are most adaptable, the ones that are able to change to meet the challenges in the environment around them. And there's plenty of studies out there that show that the core characteristic which is most closely correlated with success for a business is adaptability. Forget about all the other things. It's the ones that are able to move away from threats or move away and capture those new opportunities. They're the ones, by every metric, do the best.
Everybody can get a great job, a great opportunity as a newcomer. You got a nice little salary. Great, awesome. What if somebody took it away? As COVID showed us, everything can be taken away. So what if it was taken away to you tonight? What are you going to do? Have you learned anything? Or was it just a job? So really, the focus for a newcomer needs to be on just absorbing, being a sponge. That's literally what Dom is saying. I think that's the only way there will be any progression for their abilities.
I think you have to be great at something, and that goes to your point, William. You've got to be great at something. That's a threshold requirement. To get into the game, you need to be great. You can't be half good at something. But beyond that, the really successful organizations or people will be the ones that are able to translate that and create an experience for their customers which is valued, helping people to make sense of an increasingly complex world. That's about how you make other people feel. So it's using whatever it is, that technical area that you're great at, but then finding a way to use that technical skill to create an experience that's meaningful for someone else. And that's a whole different suite of skills that we all need to develop. That's around empathy, that's around understanding, that's around connection, that's around asking questions and listening. And that's available to all of us to build those skills.
For those who may not have seen it, not everyone is an extroverted type A personality. So what sort of advice would you offer to those who are not so outgoing? How would they pitch themselves? Yeah.
If you're starving and you're thirsty and you're in a desert, everybody becomes an extrovert. You become an extrovert really quick. You become an extrovert really quick when you're hungry. Where's the hunger? Where's the belief in yourself? Where is the fact that you want a certain lifestyle? And that lifestyle could be whatever it is. You don't have to be a billionaire. You don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to be a 10,000aire. What is the life that you want? Whatever you want, that's your life, right? So it's not about converting an introvert into an extrovert, but you can be shockingly, I'm actually an introvert, but you can't tell by this at all. But I really am. But the reason why I don't seem like an introvert at all right now is because I'm passionate about sales. I'm passionate about business. I'm passionate about tech. I'm passionate about getting messages out there. Whatever you're passionate about, you're not going to be introverted about. That's impossible. And if you are passionate about yourself, your skills, and your ability, you're not going to be introverted about it because you're going to want it to happen.